I think, this happened to me in September. It also happened to me about 5 years ago when I was asked to do something which absolutely terrified me, and that was speaking in front of people. So I had been taking my classes, my Unity classes, but never really expecting to be a licensed Unity teacher, or certainly never to be standing up here. And Alice asked me, she grabbed me one day and she said, Courtney needs a speaker in August. And I can't do it. I'm wondering if you would, maybe you'd like to do that. This is about in March. I said, no, I'm not ready. She said, okay, that's fine. So that night I went home to my family and we were sitting around the dinner table and I said, you'll never guess what Alice asked me today to speak in Courtney. And they said, when are you going? I said no. And they went, what? No, Mom, you're ready. So I took a big gulp and I went back to, I thought, well, it's 5 months away, I'll just magically get better by then or something anyway. So I went back to Alice and I called Courtney and told him that I would come and speak. So that was where God and life and opportunity came together, giving me something, a gift, really, that I didn't ask for, I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't really think I needed. This is when I was still fighting with God. This is when opportunities come and I'd say, no, thank you, I'm not ready, I'm not the right person, I can't do that. I'm glad I can speak about that now as being a past era in my life. And then, of course, over all those years, I went to Unity Village and took classes. And, everyone's probably heard what a beautiful environment, peace-filled place Unity Village is. And going there really can be fun. As a student, it's a different kind of an experience. And I know Mavis has been there with me many times. You're in class at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're out of class at 5:30 in the afternoon, and then you eat and go back to your room, and you do your studies, and you do your assignments, and you do your preparation, and you get up at 6 in the next morning, and you go do it again. And it can be exhausting, physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, and spiritually, when you place yourself in the path like that, stuff is going to happen. You're learning new ideas, you're learning new ways of looking at things, and it's running into the old ways, the way that I used to look at things, the way I used to live my life. And you get that struggle there. And I know out of every class that we started on Monday, about Wednesday, there'd always be about a half a dozen people say, I'm out of here. I don't need this. Drive me to the airport, I'm going home. Because it's very tumultuous and a real internal, kind of a Lent experience, actually. It's really like a letting go and letting God. Luckily, Unity Village just says, we can't get you out to the airport until Thursday or something, and because they've learned, by Thursday we get over that crisis and we're say, okay, God, I'm here, I'll stay. So in that environment, I think I went 3 or 4 times for those weeks in Unity Village, and at one point I had a pivotal experience, one of those times actually. It's on a Thursday night actually, and I said, I'm not finishing the week, I'm out of here, I'm gone. And in that time, in those dark, lonely moments, hours actually, I made a promise to God. I came to a place where I thought, I just finally got it, God's will for me is good. Why am I fighting God? So I made a promise. My promise was, God, I will listen to you, and God, I will serve you. That's simple. I will listen, I will serve you. And God made a promise to me. Very simple. I will be there. You will never be alone. When you need wisdom, come to me. When you need strength, I will give you my strength. When you need courage, to like talking Courtney, I will be there. And so it's a partnership. It's not God saying, it's not you saying, okay, God, I turn my life over to you, and God pushes you off, out of the airplane without a parachute and says, well, good luck. It's not like that. It's a partnership. So I made the promise that when God calls, that I will answer the phone. It's like the Mission Impossible thing, you listen to the tape, They always said yes, right? So when I hear God, it's like I'm listening to tape, I'm going, oh no. And I've learned to just say yes. Because I know that when I say yes, that God will give me the right people and the right resources, will give me the wisdom, the guidance, the strength, the compassion, whatever it is I need to get through this mission impossible. So I remember also years ago, somebody asked me, I think it was just before I became a licensed Unity teacher. They said, well, what's the difference between what a licensed Unity teacher does and what a minister does? And I said, well, basically, we can do the same things, only I just can't do weddings. And I was so glad, because I said to Alice, I said, I could never be a minister because I could never do weddings. She said, never say never. Anyway, so I thought, I'm safe there. And not because I didn't want to do weddings because I thought it was going to be hard or difficult, but to me, it's such a sacred moment. And I'm such a, you can't have the person doing the wedding crying, breaking down. So that was my real fear. I thought, I'm going to break down because this is such an incredible moment right here, that I'm witness to. So I got my licensed Unity teacher certificate, and about a month later, David and Alice sit me down and say, how would you like to do weddings? And you know what I did? I said, yes. Before I could think about it, because that was my commitment, wasn't it, to God, that I would listen and that I would serve. And so I just said yes, before my mind could do anything else. And then I prayed, and I prayed. I said, God, please give me the right wedding, the right first wedding. I know it's okay to ask God, right? I said, I don't need the 300 or 1,000 people at St. Anne's with the 10 bride, the attendants and all the family going nuts and, demanding, because I've heard some real, interesting wedding stories. I said, please give me the right wedding. And I thought something informal. I know people have weddings at their homes, so maybe like one of those, And God answered my prayers. I was just so grateful. So my first wedding, I went out to, it was in someone's home, and it was fairly small. And when I drove there, oh, first of all, let me tell you, on the Friday night before the wedding, David and Alice were out of town. I thought, which side does the bride stand on? And because, when you just go to weddings, I don't know about you, but I just never really noticed, didn't make any difference. So I thought, I've got to know, because they're going to ask me, right? So on Friday night, I'm in the library, taking out books on wedding etiquette, not taking out books, reading them quickly. And it was interesting because each one of them said, at the rehearsal, the minister will instruct you about where you're going to stand. But they didn't say where you were going to stand, Fine, I think I went on the internet or something. Somewhere I found out that the bride stands here and the groom stands here. So, okay, well, I guess I'm ready. So I go out to this home, beautiful home out in the peninsula, and there's some people parked in front, and there's a young man I could really relate to, about a 16-year-old guy, probably the bride's brother, dressed in his tux, and he's directing people where to park. So as I pulled up, I said, I can park in front of these people because I'm doing the wedding and I'll be leaving, before the reception. He said, oh, are you the photographer? I said, no, I'm doing the wedding. He said, oh, you're the caterer. I thought, I got to learn the right words. I said, no, I'm performing. See, I don't like, because to me, it's not me. Anyway, I still have to find the right words. I'm performing the wedding. I'm officiating the wedding ceremony. And he looks at me and he goes, you have the power? And it was such a beautiful gift. And I said, yes, I do. So for myself, knowing that God, God is my source of my power, but I've got the power. And it really helped me, strengthen me. It was a little message to myself, yes, you can do this. And then when we got to the wedding, to the yard, the bride and groom had put up a fence in part of their yard to keep their big golden retriever on one side, and we were having the ceremony in the gardens on the other side. And we're doing the ceremony, and the dog is just howling. Oh, he's so unhappy to be, on the other side of the fence. And so I'm facing the fence, and I can hear the dog, woo, woo, And all of a sudden, the dog leaps over the fence, comes running up, and jumps on the bride, her beautiful dress. Anyway, it was just what I'd asked for. It was, or at least God gave me the things I could handle. It was informal, it was friendly, it was family. It was a beautiful experience for my first wedding. Since then, of course, I've gone on to do many, many more. And of course, the other thing about that also comes, is performing, sacred ceremonies is memorials and funerals. So I thought, you know what, I'm sure this time will come for me. And I don't know, God, I'm scared. So please, send me. So my prayer was someone who's really elderly, 90s and 100s who have lived a good life, and, that would be just great. Somebody I don't know really, really well, like not my grandmother or something. And God answered my prayers. And my first memorial service was for a 95-year-old woman. And the family was just came together to celebrate her life. And it was a great experience for me and got me through those first steps of doing that kind of service. And of course, then have done some more since then. And then really, God really, helped me do that. We had the big service for Sandy here. And that was part of that growing experience for me, that God stuck by me. God kept his promise, right? I'll be there. So that's where I was this last summer, where again, life, God, and opportunity collided together, and the next thing you know, the board asked me if I would be the temporary spiritual leader of this church. And I said yes. I said yes. And I knew when I said yes that being a spiritual leader was much more than doing Sunday services. It really is a 7-day, 24-hour, any minister could tell you, job. It's hard to remember to take a day off, because it's fulfilling and it's exciting and it's interesting and I'm serving. So one of my real challenges is to just, say, no, this day I'm not going to do, anything associated with church. But of course, people's lives don't just happen from Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And so, you go to the hospital or you have counseling with someone or pray with someone. Those things keep going on. So we take the time when we can. And so many people in the last month or so have asked me what I'm going to be doing after Doris arrives. And Doris and I have spent a long time also talking about that. And she has asked me, what is my desire? How do I see myself serving this ministry and serving God? So she doesn't know the answer. I don't know the answer. But together, we're going to be using our skills and our experiences and what we have to offer to work together through this ministry called Unity Church of Victoria. So I'm going to spend a month with Doris when she arrives. As I said before, her first Sunday is April 18th. Helping that transition period, being in the office with her and making that transition, I'll be really happy to let go of that kind of those responsibilities. And then I'm taking 3 weeks off. I'm going to visit my mom in California. I'm visiting my dad in Arizona. And then I'm going to the Unity People's Convention in Minneapolis for a week. So I'll be back at the end of June. And then we'll take it from there. But I would like to tell you that how grateful I am for your support, for your encouragement, for your laughter, for all the ways that you have helped me grow into this position. It was one, that I just said yes, knowing that God would provide me with the right place and the right environment, the right people, the right support to make it happen. I'm truly grateful for this opportunity to serve Victoria, Unity Church of Victoria, because we know ministry doesn't happen alone, right? It happens in community. And this is an awesome community to be a part of. Thank you.